they didn't want to talk to us, and I completely understand that. At that moment, you're just happy to see your baby and relieved. And at that point, it had been well over 12 hours since those parents were able to see or hear about their children. So we understood that. But, you know, we don't have a clear total number of children who were rescued, how they were rescued exactly, airlifted. We do know that a lot of them were because by the Texas game wardens. But we're hopefully we'll find out more. I mean, we are going to keep hearing
those numbers
these stories.
will come, I think, after. I mean, I think right now there's just so much going on that they maybe haven't broken it down by that.
No, and
but we'll continue to monitor.
We're just happy that those kids were reunified with their parents. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll see you right back here in a minute. Just an incredible 36 hours here in South Central Texas as we continue our coverage here at KSAT of the devastating floods in Hill Country. And even while we're talking about that flooding, we're also having rain in other parts where we thought there would be more flooding because of more rain in other parts of Texas. But for right now, this is the latest information that we have on the rescues that are taking place, the number of people. 32 people have been confirmed dead. Of them, 18 adults, 14 of them children, and 27 people are missing as a result of the flooding in Kerr County.
Yeah, at least 27. And we expect that 27 number came from Camp Mystic. What you saw today was that a lot of places that we could not get to yesterday, we got to today. And you get an idea of just the devastation that happened when the Guadalupe River was inundated with so much rain, so much water. And today, the flooding spread not only from Kurville, but also areas in New Braunfels, in Greene, in Seguin. I believe what you're looking at now are some areas in Seguin along the Guadalupe River that also flooded. What we know tonight is that there is a desperate search that is taking place in the Texas Hill Country for possible survivors that are still out there.
Yeah, that's right. So we have, and we do know, but there also have been amazing stories of rescues taking place. We know 850 people have been evacuated. 237 people have been rescued. The Red Cross is also assisting with this reunification. Their number is 1-800-733-2767. But there's also another number that I want to give to you because
we know the Salvation Army also helping out in the efforts.
I mean, it's been all hands on deck with
South Texas Blood and Tissue Center asking for donations.
Also, yes, it's something that you can do if you go onto their website. If you are sitting home and you're thinking, ooh, how can I help? Well, there are 9 places where you can go and donate blood. But before you do that, go on the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center's website, and you actually can schedule a time for you to go and donate. But as we continue here, I want to tell people about a call center that has been set up in Kerr County, and that is where if you think that you know someone that's missing, if you're looking for somebody that you think was affected by the floods, you haven't heard from them, there's a number that you can call, 830-258-1111. Again, 830-258-1111, and that's a call center that's been set up in Kerr County.
We have a lot to come during this 5 o'clock newscast, but right now, let's get to our Adam Caskey for the very latest on the weather situation. Good thing today, Adam, is that Kurville, Hunt, Ingram, Center Point, some of those areas got mostly dry weather.
Yeah, and they could actually see more showers later on this evening and then over the next couple of days, but not the kind of stagnant torrential downpour that they saw just the other night. Now, what I'm watching here is closer to Austin, and this has shown some signs of weakening, but more than anything, the energy associated with it. Notice the north to south movement, or basically northeast to southwest movement here. This is generally light rain, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few downpours pop up along and west of I-35. So basically anywhere from Seguin and Luling all the way up toward Kurville, Comfort, Bandera, and into San Antonio. And this would just be over the next couple of hours. We're watching that. So rain chances over the next few hours, they jump up just a little bit here. Up to about 60%. And yeah, we have that light rain out there right now, but this is in addition to that, some of the downpours. Down to 40% by 9 p.m., then 20% by 10 p.m. Basically the chance of a few little sprinkles here and there or brief showers overnight tonight. And then in the days ahead, we have more rainfall chances as well. Various reasons, but more rain chances. And notice they spike up to about 50% coverage across South Texas on Tuesday. I will point out that would be late on Tuesday, and I think would favor locations roughly along and south of Highway 90. Let's talk about the setup and what's actually happening here. So this is what's driving our active pattern with the torrential downpours. Notice this over Central and North Texas, this counterclockwise swirl that we have. This is basically a trough axis, a little dip in the upper level flow. And that trough axis, it's a focal point for generating showers and storms. And it's just been stuck here, drifting around, nothing to really push it. Our steering flow just doesn't have enough kick to really push it. However, starting tonight and into tomorrow, this will gradually get pushed closer to the Rio Grande. So that's going to drag some of those showers and that rain-making energy, I think, back into parts of the Edwards Plateau, anywhere from basically Brady Junction, Kurville, all the way down toward Del Rio. So I do think it's going to drag some of that rain-making energy that way, particularly into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Here's our future cast, and it's in line with that, and I'm glad it shows that because we're confident in that rain-making focal point, that rain-making energy to drift its way westward. Now, we don't want to see more rainfall in some of these areas, that's for sure. But the rain that we do see could be some more downpours again this evening, just for the next few hours. And then again tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, the redevelopment. There you go. See how this model's popping up those showers from about Brady all the way down toward Junction and Rock Springs. That's that axis of rain-making energy. But keep in mind, there's error in the system as well. So even though it shows right here, this isn't exactly where it's going to end up. It never works that way with these models. They're not that good, especially in these situations. Just keep in mind, it could be anywhere on the map here. We could see that axis of downpours and that line of downpours basically develop. And within there, we could see several inches of rain, especially Edwards Plateau, parts of the northern and western hill country, and Kurville, Kerr County could get clipped again from some of these downpours as we get into tomorrow. So for example, yeah, the computer says 445. It's all just outside of Kerr County and Kurville. I don't trust that 100%. I don't buy that completely. This could end up anywhere on the map here as we get into tomorrow. But this is mainly daylight shower activity and then dissipates after sunset, even locally. Some of the heavy rainfall setting up again tomorrow. Again, mostly we're transitioning to a pattern where it's daylight showers and just nighttime little sprinkles. So we have a few more hours to watch this energy that's up here that's headed southward, and we could have a few more pop-up downpours within that activity. Really quickly, want to give you a recap on just how much rain fell along the Guadalupe River from Canyon Lake to New Braunfels, not the Guadalupe River that flooded yesterday. This is from Canyon Lake through Sattler. And this just sat, the heavy rain earlier this morning, starting around 10 a.m., 6 to 8 inches of rain. And it did cause the river to rise, but right now it is receding. That's the key. The Guadalupe River is receding between Canyon Lake and New Braunfels. It's on the way down right now. Steve, Stefania?
So while we talk about that river receding, we're also getting a look at a lot of the damage. Our Myra Arthur, our colleague, was in Kurville earlier today. She still is there right now, and we want to take a look at some of what she saw walking around Kurville.
After we went to that press conference with the governor and Homeland Security Secretary, other lawmakers and officials, we drove around, and I wanted to stop and show you what we couldn't show you yesterday because where I'm standing was covered in water yesterday. We're here right along East Riverside Drive on the north side of the Guadalupe. Helicopters flying overhead, happens every couple of minutes. It has for hours since we have been here today and even hours prior. But take a look at what's behind me here. These are massive trees that are bent over by nothing but the force of water. The bark of these trees has been ripped off of their sides. You can see just how powerful that fast-moving water was. Everything that is bent in the direction of the water flow. Huge trees over here. Adam, if you can swing around this way, you can see some of these that have just been uprooted. I mean, for water to raise a tree by the roots out of the ground like that shows you how intense and how powerful this river was raging at the time that it continued to rise. There's a lot of personal items tied up in these trees. I've seen a pool noodle, I've seen coolers, so much. Even Adam over there on the other side, on the other bank of the river, you can see just the amount of trash that has come along with all of this. And I just wanted to stop and send this video back because it is incredible. It is incredible to see it in person and to see what the force of water can do, guys.
Just devastating. Myra continues her reports from the Kurville area throughout the evening. Expect to see her tonight on the night beat. But I was also struck by the fact you heard the helicopters going over her.
It's a constant noise.
She's just in Kurville in a neighborhood, and you hear those helicopters searching. You see people along the banks searching, hoping that they can find survivors amidst, what is so much devastation in Guadalupe. People assessing what's left of their homes, what's left of their RVs, what's left of their property. And at the same time, hoping that they can be part of the rescue operations that we are seeing up and down the Guadalupe today.
Television is such an interesting medium because you hear that during Myra's report, and obviously you see all of that destruction there, but television does provide kind of a buffer. So it's one thing when you're seeing all of this in person, it is far more impactful, not just because you're there, but it's so much bigger than how it feels when you're watching it on television.
Well, there's also so many places that we've been showing you that are very familiar if you've ever been to this area, places that are unrecognizable. And some of that video was that was from Ingram this morning. Our Zaria Oates is also in one of the very affected areas, the small community of Center Point, where we saw just a couple hours ago search parties looking up and down the river and heard a tale of a man who actually came out on his deck and heard a woman screaming for help caught in one of those trees there. Zaria joins us now live from Center Point. Zaria.
Hey guys, yeah, I'm in Center Point where we can see just how fast the water is rushing through. This is the Guadalupe River just behind me. You can see it's still coming pretty quickly just behind me, and there are lots of pieces of debris out here. But one of the most important things that we're seeing out here are people still looking for other people. It really just shows the humanity that's out here in Center Point. Even though it is a small community, it's a lot of people that are trying to help. They're doing their best to see if they can find people, see if they can find items, see if they can find things that they can bring back to people that they either know or don't know. We talked to a man earlier. He said he's been looking for a very long time for people or any items that he could find, and he has found life jackets, several of them since he's been out here. Another thing we're seeing a lot of is debris. There are trees down. There are different types of trees. There's bamboo here. A lot of this debris is from the other side. If we can pan over there just a little bit, you can also see trees wrapped around other trees, which just goes to show how fast the current was moving overnight. We also were in Spring Branch yesterday, and that's, even further away, and we saw some really rapid currents. So to see the aftermath of this, to see that trees are wrapped around other trees, making it such a clear sight of how fast those waters were moving yesterday. And then one other thing I want to show you, we're just off of FM 480, which also turns into San Antonio Street. It's up here. This is a bridge that goes over the river. The bridge is shut down. You can't get on it because there is so much debris on top of this bridge. They have been working tirelessly for a while. We are still trying to get an exact time of when they got out here to work on this bridge, but there are several crews picking up debris, moving it off of the bridge, and then continuing to do that back and forth for a very long time so that people can start moving on this bridge. This bridge can get reopened. Of course, we're still working to find several people who are missing in the area here and in Kurville. This area, Center Point, is about 9 miles southeast of Kurville, so they are really getting what came downstream from what happened in Kurville on the night of the 4th of July. We are also still working to find more information about what crews are going to be able to do here to help this town, to help them rebuild, to help them get this debris out of the area. And as we learn more, we'll bring that to you. We'll also share some words from a man who was helping to look for people and items later today. Live in Center Point, I'm Zaria Oates.
Thank you, Zaria. Appreciate that update. And you get an idea of just how devastating it was to the trees and to the topography and to the landscape in a lot of these areas.
Beautiful landscape.
Don't want to lose sight of the fact, though, that at this day, right now, at this moment, 32 people have been killed in these floods in the Hill Country. 18 adults, 14 children. We know at least 27 are missing, most of those from Camp Mystic.
We'll be right back.
There are a lot of videos and pictures coming out of the Hill Country. They really have been since yesterday, of the missing, of those who have not been recovered yet. And we have some more of those we want to show you. This is actually Kellyanne Lytle.
We're about to go to her picture right now. There you go.
This photo shared with us by her father. She was at Camp Mystic She has not been located.
And you see her there with that sign on her shirt that says Camp Mystic. It was probably taken during drop-off day. Now, we also want to show you another missing family there. This is Tivy soccer coach Reese Zunker, his wife Paula, and their 2 children, ages 8 and 3. They've been reported missing. Now, that family is from Kurville. Coach Zunker has been the soccer coach over at Tivy High School for the past 12 years. And according to his family members, he and his family, they were vacationing in Hunt, what a lot of people do around the 4th of July holiday, and they were there with Paula's mother, Lucy, and the house that they were in sat on the river between Camp La Junta and Camp Mystic. They still have not been found.
A family member reached out to KSAT with the following information, quote, Reese and Paula are late 30s, and Lyle is 8, Holland is 3. They went missing early this morning when the water swept the house they were staying in. I'm guessing that swept it away. Paula's mother, Lucy, was rescued by helicopter. The rest of the family is missing. Family want to know if anyone has seen them. They are all from Beaumont in this picture. They are Kelly High School grads. They are about 22 years old. Their names are Ella Cahill, Aiden Hartfield, Joyce Baden, and Reese Manchaca. They were in a house in Hunt that got swept away. 1769 Highway 39, the exact address in Hunt, where these 4 people from Beaumont were staying.
Now, we also have a lot of the dead that we have, the 32 that are dead, haven't been identified yet, as far as us getting that information from officials, because they're notifying their next of kin, and obviously they don't want to reveal the names of the people that we know. But we do want to show you one picture right now that we're going to Jane Ragsdale. That Facebook page there confirms that Jane Ragsdale from the Heart of Hills camp passed away. We're hearing that camp was not in session at that time.
Longtime camp director at Heart of the Hills. We actually showed you some of the pictures earlier from Heart of the Hills. Those are the red-roofed buildings that we showed you earlier. Longtime camp director passed away, and camp was not in session, but the grief is felt among all of the camps, all 18 of the camps that are up and down the Guadalupe River. They are one big family. Phone number to call for information on missing people now, 830-258-1111. That is in Kerr County. This will go right to the Kerr County authorities if you want information on some of the missing people there, if you're looking hopefully to reunify with a loved one that has been rescued.
Yeah, that's the call center that's been set up in that area. Okay, now we want to give you a list of shelters that are in comfort, just comfort, for those affected by the floods. There are 2 that have been set up. One of them is the Comfort High School and also the Emmanuel Lutheran Church. Again, 2 shelters that have been set up in comfort. In Kurville, you have a few more. You have the Calvary Temple Church, Notre Dame Catholic Church, First United Methodist Church. You see all their addresses on the screen. In case you know somebody that needs this information, if they're in Kurville or if they're in Comfort, please, we have the information on our website, ksat.com. A lot of people, it might be difficult for them to get that information because cell service is down in so many areas. Some people don't have Wi-Fi. And remember, it's been a while since some people have even had power. So it could have been a while since they've last been able to charge their phones.
As far as the reunification centers where people are reunited with their loved ones, there are 2 set up. One is at Ingram Elementary School, one at Arcadia Live in Kurville. We're updating this information as we learn more. Of course, we'll bring it to you. And of course, you can always find out this information on ksat.com. This is one of the areas hardest hit and where a lot of the focus has been, especially today and last night. 27 campers missing from Camp Mystic. These were the scenes just a few moments ago as our Dylan Collier was in the Hunt Ingram area, and some of the devastation that you saw there along camp in the area of Camp Mystic. And there's some cabins that used to be there that were swept away by all this flood water.
Okay, now we're going to go to Myra Arthur. Oh, excuse me, Dylan Collier who right now is joining us from Hunt. Dylan, we spoke with you a while ago. You were showing us some of the roads there, how that road, at least behind you, has been patched up a little bit. That's actually been a good thing so that people can get to where they need to be. Can you tell us more about what people are doing to try and pick up the pieces?
Yeah, we are just west of Ingram along TX 39 at Cade Loop. That bridge is one of the two entrances to Cade Loop and is really a modern feat of engineering when you look at what has happened over the last 6.5 hours ago. At 10:30 this morning, this bridge, you couldn't even walk across it. It was covered with debris, trees that had been uprooted and ended up on the bridge. They were able to create a pathway, volunteers were. Heavy machinery was then brought in, and a lot of gravel was dumped into the other end of the bridge, and they were actually able to make a makeshift road and kind of cover up where the asphalt had been so people could evacuate from this area. That was sometime after 10 this morning. A path was created so people could either walk or this afternoon drive to safety. Inside that loop, what had been a gentle stream just 2 days ago was replaced with rapids that extended hundreds of feet out on both sides of the banks. Further west, buses full of evacuees were driven through a path of devastation that had to be seen to be believed, honestly. Vehicles were flipped over, lodged against trees. Houses were either swept away. If they were still on their foundation, they were absolutely gutted.
All of us, we were sitting at the river and we saw the weather forecast for yesterday, 4th July, and it was kind of drizzly off and on the day before, and we kind of thought it was going to be like that. It was not. It absolutely was not.
Now, it's important to point out that first responders continue to search the area from here for about 12 miles west through Hunt on the other side, even past Camp Mystic. We see a lot of searches of first responders actually going into boats, going into the water. So those efforts continue as we approach the 6 o'clock hour, now 30-something hours into this ordeal.
Dylan, I guess we lost Dylan at this point. I wanted to ask him about Camp Mystic and what he saw out there. There he is. Hey, Dylan, you traveled through Hunt and you saw Camp Mystic in some of that area. How would you describe what you saw at Camp Mystic?
It was incredible to see just how high up on the hill the water went. You saw the flat areas where there were cabins before, completely washed away, not even really a foundation, just a little bit of sand. The main building had a lot of windows that had been blown out, and even further up the hill, we're now 3 rows deep of buildings. There was a truck on its side up against one of the buildings. So, a river that had extended outwards and continued a lot of devastation way beyond, way wider than anybody probably ever could have imagined.
Thanks, Dylan. I'll let you go. I just wanted to, I know that you drove by there, and some of these pictures are just unbelievable how much damage was done at a camp that's been there for more than 90 years. I want to say almost 99 years. So Dylan Collier reporting live from the Ingram Hunt area. Thank you, Dylan.
No, we're not going too far from Dylan right now. We want to go to our colleague, Myra Arthur, who's joining us now from Kurville.
Stephen Stefania, so we're out here where we were yesterday. Sarah Acosta was out here reporting, and we came back to this area to see what has changed since, and we have, unfortunately, learned quite a lot. Take a look at this slab, this foundation. A home used to be here. That home is somewhere down the river in pieces, one could imagine, and we have since learned that the family that lived here did not survive this. This was a mother, a father, an older son, and what neighbors told me was a newborn baby. Right next door, take a look at this house. We did speak with the gentleman who lived here yesterday. He and his wife clung to a crepe myrtle bush until they were rescued. He is here. He is out here assessing the damage. I talked with another neighbor just a few minutes ago, Mr. Tim Tompkins. He lives around the corner from here, just on higher ground. And he told me that when we pulled up, the sound of chainsaws that we were hearing, they were just down the way, really at the end of the block here. He was coming from that area, walking toward me, and he told me what they were cutting up was the baby's room, the newborn baby's room that was on this concrete slab that was part of this home. He said it is littered with baby things, but somehow that portion of the house made its way down there, and now that newborn baby's belongings are being taken apart with all the other remaining debris. I want you to hear from Mr. Tompkins himself and what he was told me. Take a listen here. So tell me what happened on Friday morning.
Well, we got up to no power and didn't think much of it. We didn't hear anything. The only thing I heard was about 11 o'clock that night. It was really coming down. And went ahead and went to sleep and got up about 6 o'clock. And I remember getting out of bed, getting ready to start my routine, you know, even without power. And I looked out and I saw my neighbor standing in my driveway looking down this way where we're at now. And I thought it was kind of odd. Never see him in like that in the morning. So I went out and I asked him, I said, Larry, what are you doing? What's going on? And he wouldn't even look at me. He just looking down this way. He just points. And I looked to my left, and the Guadalupe was right there. And
in your driveway?
Yeah, real close.
And now we're right here off the river. We talked with the gentleman who lives here. He told us he and his wife clung to a crepe myrtle bush until they were rescued. Where do you live in relation to this?
Right around the corner over here.
Okay, so you're just a little higher up.
Yeah, a little bit, not much. We're still in the floodplain. But yeah.
How about damage to your house?
None. And there was none next to us on the other house. And then this